Hello everybody, it's Mystic, and welcome back to my library. This is another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. I just finished recording that last episode, and I'm still a mess. I'm not sure what I'm thinking trying to record this one afterwards, except for the fact that I need to know what the heck is going on. Obviously, I mean, we learned a lot. I am like heartbroken over pretty much everything that I just saw. But I do kind of want to know what Medion's been up to. And also, like, where is she exactly? I mean, it seems to me that she's on our planet. At least that's what it looked like from that one cutscene a while back, but I don't know. So let's continue talking with everybody. We're going to talk to Kryl, see what's been going on here in the source, because we haven't been here in a while. And yeah, let's just find out what's going on. So, have you learned aught more of the final days? A whole lot. Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the First, events have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and the why of it, Alice and Alphino have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they've visited, Locus Amoenus is the one worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those who need it. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating, still but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon, an ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You will also recall that the proposal issued by Master Fulchinel to the people of Radzat Han. Following their discussion, Vritra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far, so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alphino, Alice, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now the final days have come to Garlemald. It would make sense to go there. There's a lot of despair there. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fulchinel. Then, panic broke out, and our communications were severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you, Celeste. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you had best take every precaution possible. Oh, it's a solo duty already. Celeste, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep, and we've got apocalypse weather. But it's the events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greeting short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacies that the Forum's airships had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees came to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart. Earlier on the Magna Glacies.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same doom we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste.
Sorry, I had my mouse in the way again.
Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense.
Oh.
How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
You all better be safe, too. Ah, his badassery always makes me feel better, no matter how sad I am.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
I have a feeling I'm about to play as Estinian.
As you wish, my little lord.
Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. Wait. Oh, I'm actually playing as Alphino.
I'll command the
Okay.
beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Help! Someone, please!
What?
What the hell is that? Is that the same?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
I think that's the same person from Radzat Han.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Is that Euless?
Wait, that's...
It
Euless and
is.
the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight!
All right.
To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride! Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army.
Oh, get over yourself. Hello? Oh.
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
Oh, I'm fighting as Alice now.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back.
Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Yeah, we get around.
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
Again? Ooh.
Get out of here!
No!
Quickly! I won't lose them. Not a one. This will be a brighter future. I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Wow, Graha.
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of her as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
Hey, it's me, speaking of.
Oh,
I'm back! This is precisely why you should never skip your squad regiments. This one. I want to give her some praise.
I can look after myself, you know.
I know you can.
Everything's in order, I trust?
Mostly. Oh, for Pete's sake.
I've had enough of this rabble! Come on!
At least I can fight as me now. I hope.
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Yeah. Whoa.
I had a feeling I'd find you here.
Hey, Stanian.
This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me! You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Who's to say that just leaving for the moon is gonna stop Medion from what she's doing, though?
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland.
Game, what's going on? Why are you making me start liking him? He's a butthead.
What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well,
Oh my god, stop being such a butthead and apologize to your dang kids.
Behind you! Just there!
Ugh. Can you give us, like... Oh, wow! Ha! Excuse... What?
Xenos! Here!
Okay.
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a
Thank
rematch.
you. God, don't I have enough to do?
That is and has ever been my sole concern.
Alice always saying what we're thinking. I love her.
You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry.
Well, yeah, in case you haven't in case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. You're not the center of my world.
Your passion pales before mine. Yet neither hate nor despair seem sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust.
Okay, could you maybe come back to me once the apocalypse is over? I mean, come on, man. Priorities.
So I hone my blade, and I wait.
Is he joining us? Because I don't know if I can handle this.
That's it. That's all you care about.
Thank you.
Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians.
Oh no.
Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While
Okay, but...
we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death.
Euless, I need you to calm down, though.
The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing. You slaughtered your countrymen. You did. For what?
For nothing in the end. So much wasted effort.
You.
Okay, Euless, bud.
You bastard!
Yes, we all agree he's a bastard,
For
but
your
you
own
need to
sake,
calm
you must
down.
Control your anger.
Thank you.
It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
Shut up. This is not helping.
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better.
What is he doing?
Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends. Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
No. Please don't.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death.
I mean, get in line.
But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day.
You spoiled brat.
You will never get what you want. Not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
Well said. I have a feeling this is one villain we're not getting a redemption arc for. There really is no reason for anything he does. Unlike so many of the other villains in this game.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish.
Olive branch?
Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
Alright then, off we go. Say something.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Big Brother Estinian. Love it. Honestly, Estinian's more of a father figure to them than Fortunal is at this point. At least to Alphino. I feel like Alisaie probably sees him more as a friend and not like a big brother figure, but Alphino absolutely does. To see Xeno standing there so uncaring and unrepentant, gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they don't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time.
Yeah, it's just gonna
In any
keep
case,
spreading.
Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I think you've proved yourself more than enough times now, Euless.
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions.
Exactly.
Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau.
Wish.
You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Charlian alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
I wish he would just apologize
There's
already.
nothing so onerous.
Stop being so stubborn.
I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
We have enough to do. We don't have time for that.
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
Yeah, that works. I mean, not that I can
It
make
does.
that decision.
You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First.
Wait until you hear where I was.
Did you hear something just now?
Huh? My eyes? Is this Pudding Way?
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
Pudding Way? What the heck? Exactly.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Oh, Urianger.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our
Shivering.
purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Thank you, game, for giving me a little bit of a reprieve from the crying. I needed it.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetherius. Urianger made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens.
And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Yes. Experience the world and all its doom.
Marvelous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more. Hey, maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom?
Pudding and Doom. I might have to title this episode Pudding and Doom because it's perfect. I'm making a note. Pudding
As I was saying, should you require any
and
assistance with
Doom.
whatever, we are at your disposal.
There.
We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it?
Fair.
Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
His face is like, yeah.
Forgive me, but are they...
Yeah, those are who you've been talking to the last decade or so.
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow. Well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
Uh-huh.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
Puddingway is just in the background.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Good for you. Good to haveth you back. May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights. Good to haveth you back.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well.
Yeah, we're alright. Wait until you hear where I've been.
Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
Puddingway.
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Somebody grab Puddingway. Oh, hey, we're back in Charlian. I dare say Master Fortunal was as nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians, as he will soon discover they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the Rostra. Everybody warm now? Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Atheris, I did inadvertently awaken the Loporit's desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Kyle tells us you have attained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's Elpis flower lead? Oh boy! Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, then this all but proves Nadana's theory. We're an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Medion. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Atheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Medion. Make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Medion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Thankfully, Vana has a tracking device on her. Before Medion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Atheris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Medion? The Vana I know would never give up. Yeah, exactly. That's my impression too, otherwise she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Medion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Heidelin must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the ethereal sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other echo-blessed allies. We couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Heidelin, even from within the antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Heidelin. So it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the ethereal sea, built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt, we've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. The Forum is in session, and as such, the Rostra is closed to visitors. A scion of the 7th Dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discord at the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter.
Oh no, is this that trailer?
We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
Okay. Maybe okay?
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, it's not
If I
that
may
trailer.
have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glacies. We shall not soon forget your service to us, and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years.
Okay, we knew this
We
already.
have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety.
Okay.
Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
That doesn't sound like everybody.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
I almost feel like he's either talking about Garlemald or he's talking about the Beast Tribes, and it could be either one, it could be both, but either way that doesn't bode well. We already tried to make peace with them.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational, and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions.
Everyone goes.
If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
we would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino.
I like that guy.
Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
All right, then.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
Okay, we're getting some hand raises. I'm looking at Dad. Where's Dad? I'm waiting. Pan to Dad.
"71 in favor, 28 against.
They didn't show Dad.
The ayes have it.
He didn't...
Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
You're such a butthead. Can't believe he didn't raise his hand. For his own kids.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part, but since we require both a means of communicating with Hydaelyn and reaching Medion, and the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. That would be helpful, yes. Alright, I'm going to end this episode here. That was a lot of cutscenes, a lot happened. We will be picking things up in the next one. It sounds like in order to get to the final zone, which is most likely where Medion is, we need to work on this Ark first. I'm kind of wondering, I feel like we should have gotten a trial by now. I'm a little worried that, like, it's going to just pop up when I least expect it. But I feel like we should have gotten one by now. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you did. You can follow me on social media. I have all that stuff linked down below. You can become a channel member or a Fan House subscriber, which are optional monetary supports. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!